morning, everybody. It's your girl, Brittany Charity, and welcome to Saturday morning story time. That's beautiful summer. We're here in Florida. I came to visit my family for a few days. Tomorrow's Father's Day, so we're going to be reading a story celebrating all the papas out there. I know a place where the loving gets tough sometimes. I know a place where living gets rough sometimes. But in this place I find the strength that I need to climb. I know a face, it takes me back to that sacred place. I hear her accent, I know her eyes, gives me the strength that I need to climb humble mountain of my life. I know a space that keeps me safe, it's in the warmth of their embrace. And in this space I find the strength that I need to climb. Oh, this humble mountain of my life, humble mountain of my life. Ooh, oh, humble mountain of my life. That's a little one I'm working on, still in the works. How's everybody doing today? I hope you had a fabulous week. So today, celebrating Father's Day tomorrow, I am going to read a passage from a little book called Papa, My Father. And it turns out that it's from the same author that I've been reading from for the past 2 weeks, Mr. Leo Buscaglia. So in this book, he talks about his father and all the different facets of who his father was. Father the philanthropist, Papa the husband, Papa the educator. And he tells these wonderful stories about his dad. And this story I'm going to read is about Papa the educator. And it goes like this. Papa had natural wisdom. He wasn't educated in the formal sense. When he was growing up at the turn of the century in a very small village in rural northern Italy, education was for the rich. Papa was the son of a dirt-poor farmer. He used to tell us that he never remembered a single day of his life when he wasn't working. The concept of doing nothing was never a part of his life. In fact, he couldn't fathom it. How could one do nothing? He was taken from school when he was in 5th grade, over the protestations of his teacher and the village priest, both of whom saw him as a young person with great potential for formal learning. Papa went to work in a factory in a nearby village, the very same village where years later he met Mama. For Papa, the world became his school. He was interested in everything. He read all the books, magazines, and newspapers he could lay his hands on. He loved to gather with people and listen to the town elders and learn about the world beyond this tiny insular region that was home to generations of Buscaglias before him. Papa's great respect for learning and his sense of wonder about the outside world were carried across the sea with him and later passed on to his family. He was determined that none of his children would be denied an education if he could help it. Papa believed that the greatest sin of which we were capable was to go to bed at night as ignorant as we had been when we awakened that day. This credo was repeated so often that none of us could fail to be affected by it. There is so much to learn, he'd remind us. Though we're born stupid, only the stupid remain that way. To ensure that none of his children ever fell into the trap of complacency, he insisted that we learn at least one new thing each day. He felt that there could be no fact too insignificant, that each bit of learning made us more of a person and ensured us against boredom and stagnation. So Papa devised a ritual. Since dinner time was family time, and everyone came to dinner unless they were dying of malaria, it seemed the perfect forum for sharing what new things we had learned that day. Of course, as children, we thought it was perfectly crazy. There was no doubt when we compared such paternal concerns with other children's fathers, Papa was a little weird. It would never have occurred to us to deny Papa a request. So when my brother and sisters and I congregated in the bathroom to clean up for dinner, the inevitable question was, what did you learn today? If the answer was nothing, we didn't dare sit at the table without first finding a fact in our much-used encyclopedia. The population of Nepal is ... and etc. Now, thoroughly clean and armed with our fact for the day, we were ready for dinner. I can still see the table piled high with mountains of food. So large were the mounds of pasta that as a boy I was often unable to see my sister sitting across from me. Dinner was a noisy time of clattering dishes and endless activity. It was also a time to review the activities of the day. Our animated conversations were always conducted in a Piedmontese dialect since Mama didn't speak English. The events were recounted no matter how insignificant, and they were never taken lightly. Mama and Papa always listened carefully and were ready with some comment, often profound and analytical, and always right to the point. Then came the grand finale to every meal, the moment we dreaded the most, the time to share the day's new learning. The mental imprint of those sessions still runs before me like a familiar film clip, vital and vivid. Papa, at the head of the table, would push his chair back slightly, a gesture that signified the end of the eating and suggested that there would be a new activity. He would pour a small glass of red wine, light up a thin, potent Italian cigar, inhale deeply, exhale, then take stock of his family. For some reason, this always had a slightly unsettling effect on us as we stared back at Papa, waiting for him to say something. Ever so often, he would explain why he did this. He told us that if he didn't take time to look at us, we would soon be grown and he would have missed us. So he'd stare at us, one after the other. Finally, his attention would settle upon one of us. Felice, he would say to me, tell me what you learned today. I learned that the population of Nepal is ... Silence. It always amazed me and reinforced my belief that Papa was a little crazy, that nothing I ever said was considered too trivial for him. First, he'd think about what was said as if the salvation of the world depended upon it. The population of Nepal? Well. He would then look down at the table at Mama, who would be ritualistically fixing her favorite fruit in a bit of leftover wine. Mama, did you know that? And Mama's responses were always astonishing and seemed to lighten the otherwise reverential atmosphere. Nepal, she'd say. Nepal? Not only don't I know the population of Nepal, I don't know where in the world it is. Of course, this was only playing into Papa's hands. Felice, he'd say, get the atlas so we can show Mama where Nepal is. And the search began. The whole family went on a search for Nepal. This same experience was repeated until each family member had a turn. No dinner at our house ever ended without our having been enlightened by at least half a dozen such facts. As children, we thought very little about these educational wonders and even less about how we were being enriched. We couldn't have cared less. We were too impatient to have dinner end so we could join our less educated friends in a rip-roaring game of kick the can. In retrospect, after years of studying how people learn, I realized what a dynamic educational technique Papa was offering us, reinforcing the value of continual learning. Without being aware of it, our family was growing together, sharing experiences, and participating in one another's education. Papa was, without knowing it, giving us an education in the most real sense. By looking at us, listening to us, hearing us, respecting our opinions, affirming our value, giving us a sense of dignity, he was unquestionably our most influential teacher. The end. That's a beautiful story, and I hope all the dads out there learned something from it. Thank you for joining me today on Saturday Morning Storytime. I love you. Hasta la próxima. Say bye, Summer. Bye. Say bye, everybody.
Happy Father's Day.
Yay. We love you. Bye, everyone.